I think we can't have enough allies in our community who are looking at promoting diversity and inclusion, again, intentionally. We have to challenge each other, right? We all get a little lazy now and then, and we don't speak out and speak up when we need to on issues where people are not being inclusive or are intentionally discriminating. So having allies helps support our voices and support our work, and I think that's really, really critical.
Allies are extremely important, and again, part of it's just a perception kind of thing. I think some people who have a negative kind of look at this work in general, they see it as like a them versus us, or that's for them and I don't need to be part of it. And allies are generally going to be people who don't necessarily fit into the categories, if we want to call them that, but they still support those people, right? There's a lot of work to do and be done. And it's going to take more than just, for example, the African American community to help in this, because we don't make up most of the workforce, just the way it is. So we have to bring people along.
People have to be in a place where they're comfortable, and there's a higher respect for openness. Even as an African American. When I went to the Asian community and the Indian community, et cetera, I knew that I didn't know all of the cultural piece, so I had to actually do some homework and allow myself to be vulnerable and learn myself on what is and what isn't, and how do I do things and versus how I shouldn't do things.
I was the first Black female technical PhD that Procter & Gamble had ever hired. I did notice that there were some people, both of my ethnicity and race and those not, who recognized the novelty of me, and recognizing that the environment at that time was not as inclusive as what it is that we seek now. There were some who really began to mentor me and later sponsor me.
Best example was on the board of the University of Cincinnati, and I eventually became chairman of that board. But on that board was a woman who, she was older than I was, but she thought the same way. I mean, very liberal, understand the patient, and compassionate. So what we did, we said, okay, on the board, she would bring up the Black issues, and I would bring up the female issues. Then that way, people couldn't pigeonhole her or me. If, as a Black on that board, if I brought up all the Black issues, people would say, oh, that's Odell, of course, she's going to speak on the Black issues. But if a white woman is speaking, or a white male, we had another person who was a male, are speaking on Black issues, then people have to listen and deal with it. They can't dismiss it. And then if I'm bringing up female issues, they can't say, oh, it's just another woman complaining, another woman saying something. So you have to have those type of collaborations to get things done. You look for people that share your values.
Allies are necessary. And I think that when people are sitting in a room making strategic decisions as to who's going to run the next division or who's going to get promoted, there is value in having a voice in that room that can say, well, you know what, I think this person would be really good, and these are the reasons why. We're not always the person sitting at that table that are making those kinds of decisions. So it's important to have allies that look like us, that are African Americans, that can speak on our behalf when they're in those rooms, and sometimes those that don't look like us. It's important to have somebody that speaks to your skill, to your integrity, and to your work ethic, and to your ability to align a team to get results.